show on the road. First of all, good Tvoch and good year to everyone. We have just exited the 21st day since Rosh Hashanah. Amazing the kind of work that goes into these 21 days block. It's unbelievable. So let's learn Likutei Moharan and I mean Likutei Moharan, Sichos Haran, and let's take a look. And the Sicha today is short and sweet. At Sicha Lamevav, Rabbeinu says, Ve'omar, Rabbeinu said, he added, Od Yezman, there will be a time, Shemi Sheyeh Ish Kosher Poshet, anybody that will be simple El Chayid. Yeh Chidush Gadol, you will be an amazing Chidush, and in like an amazing thing. Ba'al Shev Tov, this is a very, very known Sicha of Rabbeinu, and we need to understand what it is that it means and what it is that it means for us. First of all, the first thing is to understand the Chiddush that was the Ba'al Shev Tov. There were many great tzaddikim in the time of the Ba'al Shev Tov. You know, many of them were known and even probably even more were unknown. They're huge, huge tzaddikim. The Ba'al Shev Tov, but the Ba'al Shev Tov was a different paradigm. Ba'al Shev Tov was his entire metzius, his entire existence was connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every single breath he took, every thought he had in his head, needless to say, every ma'aseh that he did, every word that he spoke, were connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whatever it is that he did, he was miyachad yichudim. He was doing things in Olam Esalyonim that to such a degree that did not exist since the days of Arizal. I mean, it was an unbelievable chiddush. It was like a whole different ball game. And he was mechadish a whole new way of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and was able to get people, the simple people, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he was the Rebbe of countless olamis and countless realms. It was an amazing phenomenon. Ad kadei kach that when the Baal HaTanya asked his teacher, the Maggid of Mezritch, to tell him, of the Madreg of the Ba'al Shev Tov. So the Maggid of Mezritch told him that if the Ba'al Shev Tov would have been in the age of the Nevi'im, he would have been greater than all of them, let alone in the age of the Tanakh. He said that he was so great. He said that if it would have been in the age of the patriarchs, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, he would have been another one. Like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Ba'al Shev Tov. And the Baal HaTanya said that if it wasn't that the Maggid Mazit told him that, he would have not have believed the Ba'al Shem Tov was actually, a human being, a mortal human being born from a woman. It was something that could not possibly fathom a greatness like that. It was a chiddush, tremendous chiddush. This is when we speak about the whole inyan of tzadiki yechidi aderes, the singular tzaddikim in the generation, that many people, that are not zecher to yet to be miskarav to Rabbeinu, have a problem understanding the concept that, the Rabbi Avraham Nachman, the Baal Biur Alikutim, he said that there were the tzaddik Yechid were 5 times. It was Moshe Rabbeinu, it was Shimon Bar Yochai, it was Rabbeinu Arizal, it was Rabbeinu Ba'al Shem Tov, and it was Rabbeinu Nachman. And people tend to look at it as a quantitative quality. Like these are the opening 5 of the Los Angeles Lakers. This is like, because they're better than the 6th guy off the bench. Whatever it is that the opening quarterback for the New York Giants. I don't know, like, they're simply better than others. And people feel antagonistic about this whole concept. What do you mean, Yechid Aderes? It's something like, my team is way better than your team. And my Rebbe is much bigger than yours, And which is like, like you remember the song in the 50s, my girlfriend is really whatever it is, and your ain't diddle squat. Yours is nothing. It's just like this kind of petty kind of like, who's better than who. Has nothing to do with that. Has absolutely nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is the fact that these 5 tzaddikim were a time where a junction in Jewish history where the entire Jewish the paradigm of Yiddishkeit changed. I mean, until Moshe Rabbeinu, there were huge tzaddikim. His brother Aaron was the Navi; he was the leader. There were tremendous tzaddikim. But when Moshe Rabbeinu came, that's it. Then Yiddishkeit just took a turn and was never the same. To the point that before Moshe Rabbeinu, if Yaakov Avinu, for instance, the Zohar says that he was Mekayim in the mitzvah of tefillin with the sticks that he put in the troughs of the sheep. He took off some of the machsof halavan, whatever it is that he peeled some of the. So this is how Yaakov Avinu was. In other words, Yaakov Avinu was Mekayim the mitzvah of tefillin in its root, in its shurish. Moshe Rabbeinu came to the world. He brought down the Torah. That's it. You can be as big as Yaakov Avinu, let's say, and you can be Mekayim the mitzvah of tefillin by using, taking some wood and peeling it and putting it in the trunks with it. You are not Mekayim mitzvah of tefillin. Nekuda. The fact that Yaakov Avinu did it before it, that was before there was Moshe Rabbeinu in the world. Once is Moshe Rabbeinu in the world, and he brought down the way, the Torah, that's the only way to do it. Hashem Bar Yochai, again, was a paradigm shift. The same thing with Rabbeinu Arizal. The same thing with the Ba'al Shev Tov. The same thing with Rabbeinu. But the main thing that needs to be understood here in this Sicha, Rabbeinu is saying that there'll come a time that anybody that will be a simple Elich Yid will be as big a Chiddush, as unusual, as sensational Chiddush, as Ba'al Shev Tov was in his time. Obviously, basically, we're talking here about what you would call Yeridas Haderes. The generations are going down, where you have most of the Jews in the world are in a state of basically getting lost, like there was in Mitzrayim. This whole argument, what percentage came out of Mitzrayim? There's a version that says 1 out of 500. There's a version that says 1 out of 50. The most optimistic version is 1 out of 5. The Chamushim alu bnei Israel me'eretz Mitzrayim. 1 out of 5. 80% were lost. Didn't come out of it. We are in a state where the vast majority of Jews in the world are in a rapid state of getting lost, of assimilation. And from those that are actually Jewish, 80% don't keep Shabbos. One generation, 80% don't keep Shabbos. And from those that do keep Shabbos, the majority is basically just going through the motions. Some more, some less. Even those that learn Torah, basically they live, Torah life. Baruch Hashem, they don't do Averis, it's a great thing. But basically, they live in this world. They live in the reality of what I have, what I don't have. Is the food good or it's not good, or it's Rabbeinu said in his this generation, if somebody is in a madrega of ish kosher poshet, what does it mean, a ish kosher poshet? Ish kosher poshet is somebody who is not a big London. He doesn't know how to decipher halacha from this or from that, or he cannot keep the Torah with all the chumras and he's ish kosher poshet. But his entire Yiddishkeit is his entire existence is aimed at being connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He may not be able to, uphold his end of the bargain at all given moment in time. Some do, but some don't. But it's not because he does not care. It's not because, okay, no, it's not that. This is, he's connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wants these areas that are not connected also to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he's working on it. And, So when you find yourself, let's say that you're making this way to this. And most times you won't even know what to talk about first. I mean, it looks to you that wherever you look, things are wrong. And you don't know what priorities, what should come first. It's like you're taking a stone, you're looking at it, no, not this one. Taking this one, no, not this one. No. Like, and you can pass the entire spirit of this like really uh, seemingly unfocused of this is what I need to do. And even if you find something that you know this is what you need to do, very, very often, okay, you spoke about 5, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, that's it. You know, you satisfy the subject. There's nothing what else to say. You know, help me do this. Okay. Help me believe. Okay. Help me this. Okay. No, sure, no. And he, by the way, tonight's shir is for the refuah of Reb Shimon ben Yafa Shemla. Reb Shimon Tachem Zat Hashem is gesund. There's a suspicion that it's corona. Hopefully, it's not. And B'ezrat Hashem, he will be checked tomorrow. But whatever it is, B'ezrat Hashem, we should be healthy. B'ezrat Hashem. The touch in what we're saying is that when you go around in the koyach of the tzaddik, when you're connected to the tzaddik, you get from him a ruach hakodesh. The ruach hakodesh we spoke about. I left you a recording about Simchas B'Shayiva, about the meaning of the nekuda of what do you need when you are connected, when you're connecting to the tzaddik. The connection to the tzaddik is to connect to the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh is that one that Am Yisrael connected when they went to Beis HaMikdash. Were the people that went to Beis HaMikdash 3 times a year. Those simple farmers, you know, they took their oxen, whatever it is, they put nice laurels on the oxen, whatever it is, took their families and they walk along the way. On the way, they walked, there's a road, they had to drink. It was Shabbos, they were walking. So they made a special takana that the drinking hole that they have, so that they had this kind of, usually, you know, the hole where the water is deep. So it's a Shus HaYachid. Where they were walking, it's Shus HaRabban. You're not allowed to take water, you know, from the Shus HaYachid and bring it to Shus HaRabban. So Chazal made a special takana that they put, they're called diomdin. It was these kind of angled posts on 4 sides. And Chazal said it's a special takana that the Olam Dochem will bring with their behemoths. They will be able to put the behemoth in and give it to drink from the hole. They're simple people, you understand? They drink the same kind of water the behemoth drink. I mean, you're talking about very, very simple people. Then he came to Yerushalayim, they got to Yerushalayim, and what did they see? We spoke about it a few times. What Lamaisa, what did they see? They saw the Kohanim standing in blood up to their ankles. They saw a slaughterhouse. That's what they saw. It's not a pretty sight. And they said that when they shechted the behemoths, they made sure that the behemoths were standing with heads first, you know, turning towards the Kodesh Kodeshim. When the behemoth was shechted, you know, that maybe it let off some whatever, so it wouldn't be, you know, the behind should not be towards Kodesh Kodeshim. You're talking about very, and it's, the Torah says, what did the Torah says about that episode, that reality of these simple people going to the place where they were shechting the hammers in such numbers that the floor was flooded with blood. And the Kohanim were waddling in it with barefooted. שלוש פעמים בשנה יראה כל זכורך את פני אדון השם. 3 times a year, your every male will see the face of the Master Hashem. So he says whether yira'eh, whether he will be seen, whether he said, but you're coming to see Hashem. Only somebody, that's what I said last time we spoke about this, only somebody who's been to Uman can understand how can the physical reality and the spiritual reality, there can be such a dichotomy between the two. Like the place will be, totally, infused with ruchnius and with love and with emunah, and the place is just disgusting Ukrainian town. That Rabbeinu said it's a bit like a garbage heap. Rabbeinu said that Uman is the very end of the kedusha. So that's the borderline between the kedusha and the tumah. From Uman on is tumah. Anybody who was in Uman can understand it very, very easily. Yet, people come to Uman and they experience love that they've never experienced in their lives. And people wonder why they keep on going there with greater and greater numbers. Because what you get the Ruach HaKodesh of the Tzaddik. And we're not talking about Ruach HaKodesh of being able to tell what's going to be in the future or to perform miracles. That's not what we're talking about. The Ruach HaKodesh we're talking about is that you get an emunah that is tangible, that is real, that you can touch. It infuses your mitzvahs. I mean, it seems like everything in the world has formula. And the moon also has formula. Take a look. As my wife says, how come there's always a male and female of everything? Why? And sometimes a male and female is always one thing, but how come there isn't a third one? Or, in order for their theories to hold any order, there can't be anything developing without, how can the eye develop if there was no sight before? How can things develop to an eye without an eye being there? How can a snake be venomous? Because a snake without venom has no fangs. I mean, it has bulges, it can bite, but there's no mechanism of injecting the venom. So what developed first? There's no venomous snake that does not have, hollow fangs and there's no snake that it's not venomous that has them. So what developed first? The whole thing is a shtus. Rabbeinu said that how many things you have to believe in order not to believe in this. But the main point is that all these proofs don't do you any good when push comes to shove, because then Yiddishkeit is still a cold and calculated and quid pro quo kind of Yiddishkeit. I do this, I will do that, that will be, I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be. It's a cold and it's a dry Yiddishkeit. It's a theoretical Yiddishkeit. What you want to do when you connect to the tzaddik, when you connect to Rabbeinu, suddenly you're connecting the plug. This is what you're doing. You're connecting the plug. And suddenly you're starting to be alive. The mitzvahs are alive. You know, so said that whatever it is that you're dealing with, we all come from different areas. We all come from we all facing different difficulties. But the idea that you should always look, how do I connect this to Kadosh Baruch Hu? What does Kadosh Baruch Hu wants from me? This is what you get from the tzaddik. This is what you get from the tzaddik Yichud B'Doros. And for a yid to pass his time in this world, to be like that, it's a chiddush. This generation, it's a chiddush like the Ba'al Shev Tov. There should be somebody in this world that thinks about the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I guess and says, what can I do? I look at different things in my life and they're not connected to Hashem. What do I do with this? When you're looking at everything from the point of view of how do I connect this to Kadosh Baruch Hu? Visualization that your entire life is connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's so rare. I mean, to be aware that you were born, that you are created by Kadosh Baruch Hu is about as common as giant panda. So what am I talking about? Everybody knows Hashem created us. But that's not what I'm talking about. In fact, I have a shtickle difficulty in explaining, putting it into words, what it is that I mean. This is something that it has to illuminate to you from inside you. But it's not just, here's you, here's a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you're talking to him, and he is the creator, there's a name, the creator, and he created you. And you have the formula, that there are three partners in a person. There's the father, there's the mother, there's the neshama, and the father and the mother give the body, and so on and so on. And basically, a person passes his life in a kind of like how do I make it a little bit more real? How do I make it? At a certain point in time when you are facing a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and you almost like take an out-of-body view of what's going on with you. And you realize, I was created by Hashem. Specifically me. It's not just like I'm one of the, of the assembly line, stunts with cookie cutter neshamas, No. I was specifically me, the one with me who's looking out of my eyes, was created by Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a unique and the most intimate possible of connection between us, which not only cannot be replicated, obviously, but I don't even have the words with which to convey to you the immense feeling of intimacy and oneness when I say I was created by Kadosh Baruch Hu. This is who we are. He created me. When this big thing, we created the world and created this, and then he knew everything is going to be until the end, and the whole thing. In this whole thing is he actually created Me. I am his creation. Rabbeinu says in Torah, hey, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is one unit. One is one unity with the mitzvahs. Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted, that the mitzvah of tefillin. Kodesh Baruch Hu and the mitzvah of tefillin is one thing. And he wanted it to be put on the head, and whose head it is? Mine. It's not like, yeah, duh, every single Jew is like, yeah, it's true. But specifically, I'm only me. I mean, I everybody else is someone else. I mean, even the people I love the most in my life, my wife and my children and my mother and my father, everybody is somebody else. Me, I'm the only one there is. For me, you have for you. Everyone he is only him to himself. That's it. And when you connect to Kodesh Baruch Hu, on the level of say, whoa, do you know that me? That me that grumbles, is unhappy sometimes, and this and that, whatever it is. Hashem created me, specifically me. Specifically me. That person that I'm not sure what's the story with him, and what's the thing he should work on first, and what's the thing he should daven for first, and all these things. Hashem created that neshama. That is me. I don't have any words to explain any further. Kol chad lifum b'mshar b'libei. You can take a look at what I'm saying. This is like the most statement of all ages. And what are you talking about? Everybody was created by Hashem. You dunce cop. Obviously. Yeah, but there is a certain kind of an inner private realization here that totally blows my mind. Hashem created me. It's not a technical just kind of thing that it is, and all of this, I'm part of him. I'm actually a shtickle Hashem in the body. And he's my father. How can I go around in life, worried about, is it going to give me panos or not? Is it going to ditch me or not? Is it going to push me away or not? What am I talking about? He's my creator. He created me. He's my father completely, totally, 100%. The most close, most intimate. What the heck am I talking about? For you to look at things from this point of view, in our generation, is a chiddush like the Ba'al Shev Tov. Other people that come to contact with you or me, and they hear these kind of words from us. So, they either think that, something is not totally right with us. We are peculiar. Or you think, wow, this guy is a tzaddik. This is not. This guy is not a tzaddik. It's just like ish pasha. That's the way a Jew should be. Just a simple pasha yid that thinks about this olam hazeh, this olam haba, what's going to be. I better take care of business. and is working and developing a relationship between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That doesn't make him a tzaddik. A tzaddik is a way, 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 way something else. On the other hand, you say this person is not altogether there. Adrabah. Only a person who thinks like that is actually there. Anybody who doesn't think like that is under a hypnotic trance. It's under a spell. Or a mazan. What are you going to do? Build another villa? What are you going to do? I'm going to buy myself aged beef. Aged beef. I'm going to cook it sous vide. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to render some beef fat. And I'm going to produce tallow. And then after I cook it in sous vide in vacuum for 2 hours, I can take out an inch and a half steak, because it should be marbleized, and cook it sous vide for an hour or two. And then I'm going to sear it in the tallow that I have produced. Yeah. And this is considered normal. What else? You can afford to. Why not? If you're doing L'chvot Shabbos, L'chvot Yom Tov, knock yourself out. If you're doing it because, no, that's called a steak, man. Well, it's not called a steak. It's called a mistake. You're not with it. You know, you're not where it's at. You're not where it's at. But even if you are there, knowing that it's not where it's at is being where it is. At least you know. You're holding what you're holding. You're not pretending that this is the right way to be. You're not pretending this is not something you need to work on. Fine. That's called a Pashat Elachiyid. That is a chiddush in our generation, like the Ba'al Shev Tov wasn't his. Ad kedei kach. So we may be very small in our own eyes. And when we check the way that we are, the way that we behave, we say, rightfully so. What do we do? But the truth is that any single second that you spend thinking about how do I move another, part of me that is still outside, is still dealing with this world and pushing it in. So it's directed towards the Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's doing amazing tikkunim and all elements. Whatever it is that you do, any Torah that you learn, any tefillah that you daven, any part of tefillah that you daven, it all comes to the tzadikei emes, and they elevate it. As Rabbeinu says, Torah base. So I hate to say it, but Baruch Hashem, there's still a ways to go, but we are sitting pretty. Yeah, I know. We have a Rebbe. We have a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he says, Mi kamocha Yisrael am noisha b'Hashem. Okay, so Mi kamocha Yisrael, who is like you, fortunate you are, nobody compares to you. What do you say? Now you're looking for some achievements, right? Who is like you? You are like, wow, when you're number one, what do? You hit a basket from the end of the court with your eyes closed. What did you do? To earn you won the World Series. What did you do? You made $1 billion. You are in the Forbes 500. What did you do? What did you accomplish? Nothing. I, as already Asher, Mikamocha said that what? That I'm Noshab Hashem. I'm the one who Hashem saves. Hashem is my father. Knowing that makes you a chiddush. In Jewish generation, like the Ba'al Shev Tov wasn't his. It's an amazing statement. We need to take a lot of chizuk from that. A lot of chizuk from that. So, with this, B'ezrat Hashem, we will conclude tonight's discourse of Sichos Haran. We're getting into the rest of the year after we have taken care of the head and the body, as it were, Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, then Sukkot, and there was a birth already, Shana Rabbah, and Baruch Hashem Torah was born, Sukkot Torah today. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll meet again on Monday night, where we will talk about the Ben Melech getting into the Medina, into that state. This is the final confrontation. That's, to use euphemism, that's the World Series. That's it. That's when the metal, the pedal hits the metal, right? That's the name of the game. That's Hashem. We'll start talking about it. It's Hashem this Monday, and I wish you all a very, very healthy winter. And get chizuk, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. It's special. Don't forget it. I mean, it says, nah. Okay, you're right. Nah is right. Still, it's special. You're a chiddush like the Ba'al Shev Tov was. Come on. What are we talking about? You're talking about the Ba'al Shev Tov, Vaday. You're talking about, he's a tzaddik already. Talking about Poshta. Okay, so you're talking about like the Yidden in Nebrag, there's one in Koila, Bevadai. But also you. You come from where you come from, and you want to get to where you want to get. You connect to the tzaddik. You are a chiddush. You're unique. Hashem shall help us all. B'ezrat Hashem. We'll see again each other.